President Bola Tinubu arrives Rome, Italy for Aquaba Security Summit. The Academic Staff Union of Universities declares 2 weeks warning strike. Renewed bandit attacks raises fears in Katsina communities despite peace deal. Afghan Taliban says Pakistani troops killed in retaliatory border attacks. Hello and welcome. You're watching Third Eye Africa TV Security Panorama. I am Juliet Onra. Let's get to the news. President Bola Tinubu is in Rome, Italy for the Aquaba Process Heads of State and Government meeting, which will take focus on tackling the escalating security challenges in West Africa. The high-level meeting, co-chaired by the Hashemite Kingdom of Jordan and the Italian government, will open on Tuesday. It will draw together heads of state, senior intelligence and military officials from across Africa, as well as representatives of intergovernmental and non-governmental organizations. Initiated in 2015 by King Abdullah II of Jordan, the Aquaba process serves as a global counter-terrorism platform. This year's edition focuses on the evolving threat in West Africa, from the spread of terrorist networks and the crime-terror nexus to the overlap between Sahel-based insurgency and maritime piracy in the Gulf of Guinea. Participants are expected to explore ways to strengthen regional coordination, disrupt digital networks used for propaganda and recruitment, and combat online radicalizations. According to Presidential Advisor on Information and Strategy, Bayo Ononuga, President Tinubu will also hold bilateral meetings with other leaders on the sideline of the summit to deepen cooperation on regional security and stability. Ministers of State for Foreign Affairs Bianca Ojukwu, Minister of Defense Muhammad Badaru Abubakar, National Security Advisor Nuhu Ribadu, and Director General of the National Intelligence Agency Muhammad Mohammed are on the President's entourage. The Academic Staff Union of Universities, ASU, has directed all its chapters nationwide to commence a 2-week warning strike from midnight on Monday, October 13, 2025, following the expiration of a 14-day ultimatum issued to the federal government. ASU President Professor Chris Piuna announced this at an emergency press briefing in Abuja on Sunday. He said the decision became necessary due to the government's failure to address critical issues affecting the university system despite repeated engagement and assurances. The ASU president stressed that the union could no longer bear endless appeals without tangible outcomes. Meanwhile, the federal government has threatened to invoke the no work, no pay policy on the Academic Staff Union of Universities. In a statement issued by Folashade Boriowo, the spokesperson of the Federal Ministry of Education, the ministry accused ASU of not being cooperative despite efforts by the government to avert the strike that was declared by the union. The statement said dialogue remains the most effective and sustainable path to resolving disagreement, and government remains open to engagement at any level to prevent unnecessary disruption in the education sector. It reassured Nigerians, students, parents, and the general public that the federal government is firmly committed to maintaining industrial harmony in the tertiary education system. The Corps Marshal Federal Road Safety Corps (FRSC) Shehu Mohammed has urged passengers to remain vigilant and proactive in cautioning or reporting drivers who exhibit reckless behavior behind the wheels. He stated this in the wake of a fatal road traffic crash that claimed 10 lives and left 11 others injured last Friday along Obajana-Lokoja route. Preliminary investigation conducted by the FRSC Crash Investigation Team revealed that the crash was caused by speed violation and wrongful overtaking on the part of the driver, who lost control of the vehicle while on a night journey. The Corps Marshal, while expressing grief over the incident, reiterated that night travels, excessive speeding, and wrongful overtaking have continued to be major causes of fatal road crashes in Nigeria, while urging commercial vehicles operators to adhere strictly to road safety regulations. He emphasized that the Corps will intensify its enforcement on overloading and advocacy to discourage night journey across critical corridors in Nigeria. And now let's take a story from the FCT Police Command. The FCT Police Command has released a rare CCTV footage of the robbery operation at the unique apartment in Katampe Extension, Abuja, which led to the gruesome murder of Somtochukwu Maduagu, a reporter and anchor with the Arise TV, and Barnabas Danlami, the security guard at the premises. A statement signed by the command's public relations officer, Superintendent of Police Josephine Ade, along with a video and other exhibits, confirmed arrest of 12 suspects involved in the robbery operation. The statement indicated that all suspects hail from Kaduna and Katsina State. It said preliminary investigation revealed that the gang procured their firearms from a yet-to-be-identified supplier in Niger Republic, as the suspects have also confessed to participating in other armed robbery operations at Katampe 1, a hotel in Apple, and another in Zuba, all within the FCT. In another development, the Inspector General of Police, Kayode Ebetokun, has ordered the removal of Ajao Adewale as the Commissioner of Police, superintending the Federal Capital Territory Command. Adewale assumed office in March 2025, succeeding Tujin Disu, who was redeployed to head the Special Protection Unit at the force headquarters after he was promoted to the rank of Assistant Inspector General. A police signal cited on Sunday indicates that Mila Gajara Dantawai, the Commissioner of Police in Kogi, has been deployed to the FCT to take over. The wireless message also revealed that the Deputy Commissioner of Police in the state, Wilson Anifeok Akpan, has been posted to Kogi State pending the approval of the Police Service Commission. Confirming the development, correspondent Benjamin Hussein, the spokesperson of the force, said the redeployment was done in good faith to ensure that the force succeed in the nation's capital. And still in the Nigerian police force is leading a one-day cybercrime awareness campaign with the theme, Secure Our Digital World. The awareness walks takes off from the Unity Fountain, Abuja, proceed to the Court of Appeal and return to the Unity Fountain, drawing strong public attention to the urgent need for Nigerians to stay safe, responsible, and law-abiding online. The campaign is designed to enlighten the public on online safety, promote responsible digital behavior, and emphasize the grave legal consequences of engaging in cybercrime. Through this nationwide sensitization, the Nigerian police force reaffirms its commitment to securing Nigeria's digital space and protecting citizens from evolving cyber threats. Moving over, residents of Bagagadi and Kuki communities in Dutsima local government area of Katsina State have raised concerns over renewed activities of armed bandits despite the recent peace accord. People of the affected communities lament that the bandits are shifting their operations to neighboring areas such as Kankia, Kusada, and Ngawa local government area, which government were previously living. People of the affected communities lament that the bandits are shifting their operations to neighboring areas such as Kankia, Kusada, and Ngawa local government, which were previously living in peace and harmony. Correspondent Shamshuddin Sani, who visited the affected communities, filed this report for Third Eye Africa.
Kuki, located about 6 kilometers from Dusama town, and Bagagadi, situated just up the Dusama Kankia road near a village, are home to more than 4,500 people, mostly farmers and traders. For about a month following the peace deal with the bandits, residents experienced a brief period of calm. However, that calm has been shattered. Survivors recount traumatic memories of past attacks in which 25 people, including women and children, lost their lives. Dozens were abducted, and millions of naira were paid in ransoms to secure their release. Despite the supposed truce, residents say bandits continue to terrorize the communities, breaking into homes, abducting villages, raping women, and stealing livestock. Security presence, they say, remains minimal or entirely absent.
We can't say there is real peace. Our neighboring communities are attacked almost every day. Hundreds have been displaced. Every evening, people from neighboring communities come to Radda, Bagagadi, and Kuki and gather here to spend the night in fear of bandits' attacks, despite the peace deal. To be honest, people here have suffered untold hardship from bandits. Our loved ones were killed or kidnapped, thousands of animals rustled, and our livelihood destroyed. There is only partial peace now.
The people of Kuki and Bagagadi report living in constant fear as groups of armed men frequently pass through their villages with large herds of livestock allegedly stolen from neighboring areas and even parts of Kano State. Just last Sunday, a man known as Dampulani was reportedly killed in a nearby settlement close to Bagagadi. Locals see the incident as further evidence that the so-called repentant bandits are not sincere about peace.
This so-called peace deal is nothing but deception. The bandits move freely to areas without peace deals, kill, abduct, and rustle animals, then return here pretending to be peaceful. We are appealing to the authorities to intervene immediately. There should be a uniform peace deal covering the entire state. Right now, the bandits are taking us for granted, deceiving us just to expand their territories.
Residents are calling on the government and security agencies to take urgent and decisive action to protect lives and restore real peace to their communities. From Katsina, Shamsuddin Sani, Sad Eye Africa Television.
Troops of Operation Fasanyama have rescued 3 more kidnapped victims from the Babella forest in Kwara State as the Nigerian army intensifies its offensive against bandits terrorizing communities in the state. A statement on Sunday by the Acting Assistant Director of Army Public Relations, 22 Armored Brigade, Ilorin Captain Stephen Wankwo said the victims were rescued during coordinated operations following credible intelligence about the movement of kidnappers in the area. Wankwo said troops deployed at the patrol base Babella stormed a suspected bandit hideout and successfully rescued Oluwabusayo Taiwo and her 3-year-old son, Taiwo Irayomide, who were abducted at Oke Ode on September 28, 2025. In a separate operation, troops on routine patrol along a known bandit route also rescued Mr. Muhammad Sani, a 40-year-old local tea seller from the Gakarima community. The bandits reportedly flee upon sighting the patrol team abandoning the victim, who was found in a pool of blood. The army spokesperson added that the victim was receiving medical attention at the patrol base clinic. The commander, 22 Armored Brigade, Brigadier General Ezra Bakins, commended the troops for their bravery and swift response, assuring that the Nigerian army would sustain its operation to completely flush out criminal element from the state. The rescue came barely 24 hours after troops of the same operation freed 2 kidnapped victims in Idofin, Irupodun local government area following a fierce gun duel with the abductors. And still in security stories, a 52-year-old businessman, Ejiofor Godwin Emeka, has been arrested by operatives of the National Drug Law Enforcement Agency, NDLEA, at the Malam Aminu Kano International Airport, Kano, after excreting a total of 127 wraps of cocaine concealed in his private part and stomach. This was disclosed by Femi Babafemi, Director of Media and Advocacy at NDLEA headquarters, Abuja. He said Ejiofor, who operates boutique in Lagos and Onitsha, Anambra State, was apprehended upon his arrival from Bangkok, Thailand, via Ethiopian airline flight ET941, following credible intelligence. A body scan confirmed he had ingested illicit drugs and concealed some in his private part. NDLEA said 58 wraps of cocaine were first recovered from his pant before he was placed under excretion observation, during which he excreted 69 additional wraps in 7 rounds, bringing the total to 127 wraps, weighing 1.388 kilograms. Meanwhile, NDLEA operatives have also intercepted 3 consignments of illicit drugs bound for the United Kingdom at the courier company in Lagos. The seizure included 1.74 kilogram of methamphetamine hidden in glass ceramics, 114 grams and 168 grams of pentazocine and tramadol injections, and 48 grams of tramadol capsules concealed in vitamin C containers. At least 8 people have been confirmed dead, while 6 others are missing following an armed attack in Ndama village in Kokona local government area of Nasarawa State. In the incident, gunmen were said to have stormed the community, shooting sporadically and killing residents. The report said 2 other victims sustained serious injuries and are receiving medical treatment, while security agencies have intensified efforts to rescue the missing persons and track down the attackers. A combined team of security personnel, including the Army, Police, Department of State Services, Nigeria's Security and Civil Defense Corps, and the Vigilante Group of Nigeria, have already visited the scene alongside the Executive Chairman of Kokona Local Government Area, Abuwa M. Abuwa. Sources said the bodies of the victims had been taken to the mortuary, while preliminary investigations suggested the attack might be linked to a lingering land dispute in the area. Security forces have since assured residents of increased patrols and urged anyone with useful information to assist ongoing investigations. Following the arrest of security officials in possession of undeclared foreign currencies totaling over $6,000 and £53,000 sterling at the Murtala Muhammed International Airport, the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission has launched an investigation into the matter. Reports say 2 security operatives who attempted to board an aero contractor aircraft with $6.1 million were apprehended by personnel of the Federal Airport Authority of Nigeria during a routine check. Following the arrest, the suspects were handed over to the Department of State Services before being transferred to the EFCC. The Anti-Graft Agency, in a statement, said the operatives of the Lagos Zonal Directorate 2 of the EFCC based in Ikoyi have identified the suspect as Mahmoud Nasidi and Yahaya Nasidi. The commission said the suspects, who had arrived in Nigeria from Dubai via Addis Ababa and were en route to Abuja, allegedly failed to declare the foreign currencies in their possessions as required by the law. Speaking further, the EFCC also confirmed the seizure of 3 mobile phones found on the suspect at the time of arrest. In recognition of his outstanding leadership and contribution to grassroots development, the Kebbi State Chapter of Radio, Television, Theatre and Art Workers Union of Nigeria has honored the Commissioner for Local Government and Chieftaincy Affairs, Alhaji Garba Muhammad Dutsin Mari, with a special award of excellence. The award presentation was held at the Commissioner office in Birnin Kebbi. Our correspondent Hayatu Bala has more on the report.
Speaking at the award presentation, the Kebbi State Chairman of Ratau, Malan Tanimu Lawal, said the union unanimously agreed to present an award of excellence to the Commissioner for Local Government and Literacy Affairs, Alhaji Garba Muhammad Dus Ummari, in recognition of his commitment to transparency, good governance, and support for media practitioners in Kebbi State. Malan Tanimu Lawal added that the union will continue to collaborate with the Commissioner and his ministry towards promoting programs executed by the present administration in Kebbi State. Also speaking, the General Manager of Kebbi State Television Service, Alhaji Aminu Sani Kamba, recalled how the Commissioner supported 2 staff of Kebbi State Television Service with over 20 million naira on health ground. Thanking him for the gesture, he then enjoined other politicians to copy from the Commissioner's generosity and selfless service. Responding, the Kebbi State Commissioner for Local Government and Literacy Affairs, Alhaji Garba Muhammad Dus Ummari, expressed appreciation to the union for the recognition, saying that it will inspire him to continue promoting accountability and development to the grassroots level. He said the award has again boosted his morale to do more for the people in need and to strengthen the good relationship with the media in promoting good governance. I am Hayatu Bananasara, reporting for Side Eye Africa from Birnin Kebbi.
Thank you, Hayatu, for that report. Up next is business. Don't go anywhere. Thank you, Juliet. Welcome back. You're still watching Third Eye Africa Television. I am Kenechiko Ojuyanam. Let's take a look at the latest developments in the world of business. The Central Bank Governor Olayemi Cardoso is leading Nigeria's delegation to the World Bank and International Monetary Fund annual meeting in Washington, D.C., which opens on Monday, October 13th. A statement by the President's Special Advisor on Information and Strategy, Bayo Onanuga, said Cardoso will replace the Minister of Finance and Coordinating Minister of the Economy, Wale Edun. He said the Nigerian team will also comprise the Minister of State for Finance, Doris Uzoka Anyete. Quoting the World Bank, the statement said key elements of the annual meetings include the Development Committee plenary session on October 16th and the International Monetary and Financial Committee meetings on October 17th. Other featured events include regional briefings, press conferences, and fora focused on international development and global economy and financial markets. Meanwhile, the Central Bank of Nigeria's new policy on agent banking may push no fewer than 40% POS operator out of business. The Apex Bank released new operational guidelines for agent banking, capping the daily cumulative transactions per POS agent at 1.2 million naira. Under the new framework, all agent banking transactions must be conducted through a dedicated account or wallet maintained by the principal financial institution to ensure transparency and better oversight. The CBN warned that any agent found using non-designated accounts for operations would be in violation of the regulation and would face sanctions. Agents involved in misconduct or fraud will be blacklisted or have their agreements terminated. The framework further limits individual customer transactions to 100,000 naira on a daily basis, while agents' devices must be geo-fenced to prevent unauthorized mobile use. The CBN announced that implementation of the new agent location and exclusivity rules would begin in April 1st, 2026. Reacting to the new policy, the national president of the Association of Mobile Money and Bank Agents of Nigeria, Fasasi Sharafaddin, said the recently released guidelines by the Apex Bank and Customer Trust that currently defines agency banking operations. Findings from the new Debt Burden Index, a composite metric designed to capture Nigeria's true fiscal pressure, show the country's debt stress has reached its highest level on record. The report released by the Nigerian Economy Summit Group during its annual conference in Abuja revealed that between 2020 and 2023, Nigeria's index peaked at 83.6 points, reflecting the severe strain from pandemic-era borrowing, collapsing revenues, and debt service costs that exceeded total government revenue. The report indicates that Nigeria's debt architecture has become structurally fragile and fiscally draining, highlighting the urgent need for reform. It shows that as from August, Nigeria had spent $2.86 billion servicing external debt, slightly lower than $3.06 billion spent in the same period in 2024. This figure represents 69.1% of the country's total foreign payments of $4.14 billion during the review period. And that's it from Business Desk. Up next is Foreign with Hawa.
Glad to know you're still there. I am Hawa Umar. Police in Ivory Coast used tear gas at the weekend to disperse small groups of protesters who had defied a ban on an opposition march in Abidjan, the capital. The protest organized by the opposition coalition was banned by Ivorian authorities on Friday. Well before sunrise, the area was sealed off by security forces. Police blocked key roads, set up barricades, and patrol on foot to deter gatherings. Despite the heavy deployment, demonstrators managed to gather in pockets. The protest comes amid rising tension ahead of upcoming elections. President Alassane Ouattara, who has been in power since 2010, declared in July that he would run for a fourth term. Presidential elections are set for October 25, 2025. Several opposition figures have been banned from running. An August march in Abidjan saw thousands of people from different political parties march against Ouattara's fourth-term bid. Ouattara is the last among a growing number of leaders in West Africa who remain in power by changing constitutional term limits. Ouattara justified his decision to run again by saying that the Ivory Coast is facing unprecedented security, economic, and monetary challenges that require experience to manage them effectively. Official results released on Sunday show that opposition leader Patrick Khamenei has won the presidential elections in Seychelles, defeating incumbent leader Wavel Ramkalawan in a runoff vote. The results show that Khamenei gathered 52.7% of the votes, with Ramkalawan taking 47.3%. Khamenei represents the United Seychelles Party, which led the country for 4 decades before it lost power in 2020. It was the governing party from 1977 to 2020. Ramkalawan of the governing Lyon Democratic Seychellois Party had sought a second term. Khamenei served as Speaker of the National Assembly between 2007 and 2016. In his victory speech, Khamenei said majority of lawmakers in parliament will allow his party to work collaboratively and constructively to deliver the best possible outcomes for the people. The race between 2 main contenders in Seychelles' election was decided in a runoff after there was no outright winner in the presidential vote 2 weeks ago. The Taliban government has confirmed that it's attacked Pakistani troops in multiple mountainous locations in the northern border. The Taliban spokesman said 58 Pakistani military personnel had been killed in what it's called an act of retaliation. It claimed Pakistan had violated Afghan airspace and bombed a market inside its border on Thursday. Pakistan has disputed that figure, saying 23 of its armed forces members had died and claiming that 200 Taliban and affiliated terrorists have been neutralized. Pakistani's Interior Minister Mohsin Naqvi said the Afghan attacks were unprovoked and civilians were fired at, warning that his country's forces will respond with a stone for every brick. Islamabad has accused Kabul of harboring terrorists who target Pakistan on its soil, a claim the Taliban government rejected. Both the Afghan and Pakistani side are said to have used small arms and artillery in the Kunar-Kuram region. China has said that President Donald Trump's latest threat to impose an additional 100% tariff of Chinese goods is a typical example of U.S. double standards. A Commerce Ministry spokesperson also said China will introduce its own unspecified countermeasures if the U.S. president carries out his threat, adding it was not afraid of a possible trade war. Trump had hit back at Beijing's move to tighten its rules for export of rare earths, accusing China of becoming very hostile and trying to hold the world captive. He also threatened to pull out of a meeting with China's President Xi Jinping scheduled for later this month. The president's words renewed fears of a trade war between the US and China. In May, the two sides had agreed to drop triple-digit tariffs on each other's goods, which had raised prospects of trade halting between the two countries. This left US tariffs on Chinese goods facing added 30% levy compared with the start of the year, while US goods entering China face 10% tariff. Let's now join Margaret on sports.
Hello and welcome to the sports segment. It promises to be an intense encounter as the Super Eagles trade tackle with the Cheetah of Benin Republic. The highly anticipated fixture promises to be a thrilling contest as both West African sides battle for a vital point on the road to the 2026 FIFA World Cup. Nigeria will be looking to bounce back from recent missed results and strengthen their qualification hopes, while Benin Republic aim to build on their impressive form and secure a statement win on home soil. With stars like Victor Osimhen, Ademola Lookman and Wilfred Ndidi expected to feature, the Super Eagles will rely on their attacking prowess and experience to outclass the Cheetahs. However, Benin's compact defense and counter-attacking play could pose serious challenge. Kickoff is scheduled for Tuesday, October 10 at 5 p.m. Nigerian time, and the game will take place at the Godswill Akpabio International Stadium in Uyo, with fans eagerly awaiting another chapter in this regional rivalry. In the latest outing, the Super Eagles edged past Lesotho 2-1, a victory they desperately needed to stay in contention in Group C. Benin most recently recorded a 1-0 win over Rwanda, courtesy of a late strike from Ayegu Tosin, a result that pushed them clear at the top of Group C. Benin Republic occupy first place with 17 points and a superior goal difference, while Nigeria currently sits in third place with 14 points. And to the Nigerian Professional Football League, Kano Pillars general manager and Super Eagles captain Ahmed Musa has condemned the violent attack on Shooting Stars players and officials after their MPFL match in Kano. The incident occurred at the Sani Abacha Stadium following a 1-1 draw when angry Pillars fans invaded the pitch and assaulted the visitors after a late equalizer. Musa described the attack as shameful and unacceptable, apologizing to Shooting Stars and football lovers nationwide. He assured that those behind the violence would be identified and punished. The MPFL has also condemned the incident and launched an investigation. And to the foreign scene, Inter Miami captain Lionel Messi delivered another brilliant performance, scoring twice and providing an assist as his side thrashed Atlanta United 4-0 in the Major League Soccer clash on Saturday night. Messi opened the scoring in the 39th minute with a trademark finish after a fine pass from Baltazar Rodriguez. The Argentine playmaker then set up Jordi Alba for Miami's second shortly after the break before Luis Suarez added the third with a smart volley in the 61st minute. Messi completed his brace in the 87th minute, slotting home for Alba's assist to seal a dominant victory for the home side. The win secured Inter Miami a top 3 finish in the Eastern Conference and kept Messi at the top of the MLS Golden Boot race with 26 goals this season. Atlanta United meanwhile extended their winless run to 5 matches with mounting pressure on their defensive line following another heavy defeat. And that story ends the sports segment. My name is Margaret Ogumesi. Thank you for watching.
Thank you, Kene, Hawa, and Margaret for that. With that, that brings us to the end of the news. But before that, let's take our recap. President Bola Tinubu arrives Rome, Italy for Aquabar Security Summit. The Academic Staff Union of Universities declares 2 weeks warning strike. Renewed bandit attacks raises fears in Katsina communities despite peace deal. Afghanistan Taliban says Pakistani troops killed in retaliatory border attacks. With that, we've come to the end of the news at this hour. Thank you so much for staying with us, and remember, stay informed, stay safe. I am Juliet Onwura.